From May 7th to June 5th of this year, Venus is going to be in the sign of Cancer. Now, this is going to be the last, average and normal Venus transit, because the next Venus transit is going to be quite a big one, and I'm going to do another video about it. It's going to be a Venus retrograde in the sign of Leo, and I'm going to walk through what Venus retrograde is, what it means, what Venus in Leo means, what that is, and then the unique aspects that are going to be occurring with that. And I may even have a poem that I may present for that video as well. But for now, Venus is in Cancer. Venus is going to move into Cancer. And I think it's really important to talk about this because right now we are in the middle of Taurus season. The sun is transiting through the sign, or a sign, that is ruled by Venus. Because Taurus is fixed earth, and it deals with what is simple, sensual. It deals with the pleasures of life. It deals with what you find beautiful and what you value, and all those things are related to Venus. And, the placement that Venus is in during Taurus season becomes important. And when Venus, the goddess of love and beauty, I've also heard that Venus is the goddess of war, but that's another thing. When Venus changes signs, that becomes important because the spotlight can focus in on this planet. And it's one of the only female planets in, the solar system. So it brings that Venus is, super warm, and it is super, it's a yummy, delicious energy. So talking about Venus in Cancer, we're really going to take a look at that yumminess and deliciousness, because Cancer is ruled by the crab. Now, getting a little bit, off the beaten path here, crabs can be served in mac and cheese, but when it comes to crabs, they have a hard outer exterior, but the inside is so soft and squishy and yummy and delicious. So that represents the Cancer, hard shell, very shy and very introverted. But when you get to know the Cancer, when you spend enough time emotionally connecting and bonding, and when you're in the Cancer's lair, or, place, or, environment long enough, then they will open up to you, and they will be super loyal and treat you like family and care for you and nourish you in those kind of sentimental ways. And so, Cancer is ruled by the moon, and the moon is the planet. Well, in astrology, it's known as the planet, but it's a luminary that is feminine in nature, and it rules over your emotions. And so Cancer is the first water sign of the zodiac, and it's also a cardinal sign, so we can take action to, take care of our families and, be more, in our homes. And when the sun transits Cancer, and, in the northern hemisphere, that is the first, 30 or so days of summer, when, the kids are off from school. We're having barbecues of the 4th of July that happens in America, where, we're swimming. And Cancer can really, take control. And, not in a, super, aggressive, sort of steadfast and direct way like Aries. I'm not saying that Aries is, aggressive, but that's the low level of Aries. Looking at Mars in Cancer, because Mars rules Aries, and right now it's in Cancer, which can sort of orbit around and dance around a target, whereas Mars in the sign of Aries can just head straight for that target. But that's a whole nother conversation. And I think of Cancer as being the cardinal sign. I picture, I have this image of these girls, putting on a show, like a play in the, a living room, and then the, mom and the other family members clap and cheer. And, because the cancer is putting so much time and energy into the family, now we can put our value into that area of our life with Venus in the sign of Cancer. So, emotional connections become important. Our security, our emotional security becomes important. Our home environment becomes huge. We really want to put a spotlight on, make the home a nice, cozy, loving sanctuary. And it's a great time to think about your, connections and evaluate your connections. And there's going to be a moment when Venus is going to form a sextile to Mercury, right before Mercury heads direct, right before we get the burst of intellectual clarity. When Mercury is standing still in the sky, Venus is going to sextile Mercury. So we can really, communicate how we feel and what's on our minds in relationships. And we can look back and we can reevaluate. Um, how our relationships are. Are they serving us? Are they emotionally nurturing? Is our home a place where we can, just come home and take off our hat? Home is where you hang your hat. And so do we feel, um, at home in ourselves, but also with our partners, our family? That becomes really important, and we can look at that and we can become more loyal to the people in our lives. And we can also give to the people in our lives and receive that back. That whole dance between giving and receiving that comes in so huge with spirituality and astrology. Um, and again, loyalty, this is about taking care of others. Um, And, Cancer also deals with, because it rules, because all the signs correspond to parts of the body. Cancer rules the breast, the stomach, so cooking can become really important. What we put in our bodies, what we feed ourselves, making sure that we are nourishing ourselves with food that is helpful to our body, that we're feeding ourselves with foods with a lot of nutrients. I knew there was someone who was a Cancer's son who was in the Lawrence Welk show, and who was Norma Zimmer. She has a gorgeous voice. She was known as the Champagne Lady. She really was a fan of making fruit smoothies. And she had those, smoothie, this kind of, where she made a lot of fruit juices, and all those kind of things. So feeding yourself, because Cancer, in terms of food, rules what is, something really warm and comforting and hearty, but making sure that that is also, nourishing and has, that we're eating fruits and vegetables. We can really think about our health when it comes to feeding ourselves, and also, cooking, sitting around the dinner table, holding hands with one another, and enjoying those memories. I call them pasty memories. Pasty memories are memories where you are remembering, oh, I made this dish with somebody that I really, love, and I have this nostalgia from this memory. So cooking becomes important. How much, are we eating? How much are we indulging? Looking at our moderations with, the food that we're putting into our bodies. Um, and, Cancer, with Venus and Cancer, we can look at, nostalgia, the nostalgic memories that we have. We can examine our family traditions, get out the, photo albums, reconnect with our family and lineage, and maybe become more educated about our family history, at this particular time. If you think about the Joy Luck Club and Amy Tan and, what went on with that, because, all this seems are, very family, oriented with that particular novel on the Joy Luck Club, if you've ever read it. I remember reading a portion of it, and that was, really interesting, I do have to say so. Especially on the onset of Venus in Cancer, Mercury is retrograde, so we are looking back. And, in love, new partners, new relationships, we can be drawn to them and have this kind of emotional connection to them. But where it is that we are running for the hills with this partner, and we really need to evaluate, are they right for me? Are they going to serve me? Is this relationship going to work for me and, give me what I need? And is this going to be stable and long lasting? And is it going to work? Balancing our emotions with the, our logical mind is important, balancing the masculine with the feminine. And it's also a great time for self-care. And not only self-care, taking care of ourselves, because Cancer needs to recharge its batteries, needs to replenish, needs its alone time. So we can put time in for self-care during this time. And, meditation, journaling, getting outside in nature. There's a whole myriad of spiritual practices. We can also trust our instincts and our intuition, our inner knowing, in a better place during this time. Going inside, becoming at home with ourselves, really being present within ourselves and making decisions and doing things because it feels right. And, when something feels off and we have a feeling about something, we can, know and then decide and take action according to what feels right and what will work for us. It's just, a time for soothing. It really is soothing. And where must healthy boundaries be established in your relationships? Because Cancer wants to take care of everybody. It wants to nourish everybody, but making sure that you are not, overdoing it to the point where you're not taking care of yourself. You're not giving the energy and spending that time to take care of yourself, because once you fill up that well, then you can take care of others. You know, self-love, self-respect, valuing yourself. All these themes are huge with Taurus season. And, it's important to balance this out, because once you take care of yourself, once you fill up your mask with gas, with the love that you give to yourself is the love that you give to other people. So it starts from you and then to others. So making sure that we're not falling into martyrdom or being a slave or a victim in our relationships, and we're serving others, we're nourishing others from our hearts, because we genuinely care, we genuinely want to serve, we genuinely want to help others. That is super important. Now, the aspects at this particular transit, because it is not Venus in Cancer, it comes around every year. Venus is going to trine Saturn on May 13th, a day before Mercury goes direct. And this is where we can get serious about our relationships. And are they working for us? Saturn looks at relationships that are long-lasting. They are for the long term. So we can make long-term relationship plans, and we can be productive and put the work into our relationships, where we can do our part and play our role and do our bit and take the action to see what is working, what isn't, and, fix anything that isn't working as well. And really being in alignment with what you value. Saturn is the reality check, and it deals with your real purpose in this lifetime and the challenges that you have to overcome and what you are here to master. So, really being true to your past and choosing the relationships that will help you become more aligned and focused and on that path. And we can find partners that will help us with that are stable, that are grounded, that are responsible, that, you know, are really, not so much, about the business and, corporation and those kind of things, but know about, integrity and truth and loyalty, authenticity, and, self-respect. And, we can also look to, honoring tradition, because Saturn rules, tradition also, with the Saturnian energy. Who respects you as a person? Who respects your energy, your value, your time is super important during this time. Now, on the 26th of May, we have Venus forming a sextile with Uranus. Now, sextiles, so let's say Venus is in Cancer, Uranus is in Taurus. That is a sextile. When we have a planet in a water sign and an earth sign, or a planet in a air sign and another planet in a fire sign. And the important thing with a sextile is they cannot be opposite each other. Venus in Cancer, opposite Pluto and Capricorn, for instance, which has repeated itself, over and over again for many years, is not a sextile. It's an opposition when they come to form an aspect, because Cancer and Capricorn are opposite signs. Cancer and Taurus are 2 signs apart, therefore it makes a sextile in that case. So Cancer and Taurus and Cancer and Virgo are, sextile, energies together. So sextiles present an opportunity. The thing about trines is it's super harmonious. It's easy energy, but we can, the downside with trines is we can get lazy and we can't, move our lives in new directions and grow as much. But with sextiles, it's an opportunity to take action. Not like a square, which is uncomfortable and it has a tension to it. But sextiles are really productive, and we can take advantage of an opportunity that is being presented to us. So Venus sextile Uranus is freedom. We can become more social, out of the box. We can liberate ourselves. We can meet people from different walks of life, explore people from different backgrounds, from different cultures. That's the kind of energy with Uranus. We can do something spontaneous, something exciting, and go on, an adventure, and really, liberating ourselves in our relationships, and, spicing things up if things are stagnant or, stale, or boring or flatlined. And also, I think what this comes down to is the partner respecting you, your freedom, your independence, your autonomy, your space in that relationship. Uranus rules Aquarius. Aquarius wants to be independent. Now, moving on to June 2nd, Venus is trining Neptune, and this is a beautiful energy for anything creative, anything artistic, any, painting, music, anything related to art. Becomes important. We have this Venusian quality of floating up into the sky, metaphorically speaking, and getting all of these spiritual ideas, and anything that involves, escapism, or anything that involves altered states of being this is beautiful for them, but also showing a lot of love and empathy and tenderness in our relationships. And there's a beautiful feminine, compassionate energy with Venus trine Neptune, where we can really feel what our partner needs and wants, and we can really be there for them on a soul level, on an emotional level. And it's also a very romantic energy, but we can nurture others, where we can really spend this time to take care of others, and that is an opportunity for that, and understand the oneness that we share with another. So that is this transit on Venus through the sign of Cancer. I really, really hope that you enjoyed this, and I will see you in another video. Bye for now, everybody.